Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about alternate reality games. Don't worry, this isn't the start of one. Or is it? That and more today on Tiny Voices. What do jars of honey and Halo have in common? Well, the story starts with a group of message board members unexpectedly receiving jars of honey mixed with their morning mail. Along with the jars were messages which led them to the URL ilovebees.com, a site run by an enthusiastic beekeeper. The website seemed to be in a state of disrepair, full of corrupted images and random thought fragments that looked to be evidence of hacking. The initial wave of visitors brought to the site by the jars of honey started asking around and spreading the word. Traffic to the site grew, and eventually someone found a breadcrumb trail of clues embedded in the site. And these clues revealed the presence of a rogue AI that the beekeeper maintaining the site was embroiled with before getting freaked out and abandoning upkeep of the website. Eventually, someone found coordinates on the site that led them to a real-world payphone, and from there, the rabbit hole deepened. After solving a series of puzzles, people were able to directly talk to this AI and learn more about it, like how it had come from the future on an advanced spaceship, and temporarily lost her memories. She willed players to perform bizarre tasks for her satisfaction, like demanding that they take a photo of themselves building a human pyramid. After she was satisfied, she returned to her time, and in doing so inadvertently revealed Earth's location to an alien race known as the Covenant, as in the Covenant from Halo. I Love Bees was a viral marketing campaign and an alternate reality game, or ARG, for Halo 2. ARGs blend fiction and the real world by pulling players into a narrative as active participants in it and not merely as audience members, much like how interactive theater, like Tony and Tina's Wedding, is a form of participatory fiction. These ARGs can draw you into the world of the surreal by tasking you with doing things like winning a poker game in a graveyard, and they usually require a tremendous amount of collaboration and deductive reasoning. They can compel players to visit real-life locales, like with the I Love Bees and the payphones, and they can require ridiculously specific skill sets like knowing how to run audio files through slow-scanned television decoders to produce a hidden image encoded in the noise. Portal 2's first ARG started out that way, with a bunch of sound files being added to the radio in Portal in a patch. These audio files gave way to SSTV images revealing messages, encoded by Morse code, and some of the images contained 4-digit alphanumeric strings along with an encrypted hint on how they fit together. Once players arranged the messages correctly, someone had to figure out that these were bits of cryptographic data, specifically an MD5 hash that decoded into a BBS number to a landline in Valve's headquarters of Seattle. Users connecting to the BBS with a 56K modem were greeted with a login prompt. The username and password for this login were derived from a bit of Morse code encoded in one of the audio files from earlier. And that was just the start. The game spanned from the 1st of March in 2010 to June, and it was followed up with another ARG for Portal 2 in 2011. The overarching ARG featured both real-world elements as well as interplay with a handful of indie games like Amnesia: The Dark Descent, Super Meat Boy, and The Wonderful End of the World, and it eventually saw the slightly early release of Portal 2, and elements of both ARGs were included in the game's lore, which further blurred the lines. Players worked in feverish cooperation with one another, coordinated across IRC channels all hours of the day, solving clues, chasing down leads, and exhausting all possibilities. It was both a community effort and an experience not quite like any other. This is just a small taste of the breadth and complexity of the Potato Sack ARG as it came to be known, specifically. But other ARGs don't usually shy away from this level of complexity and obscure solutions because they're such collaborative efforts. Like with the two examples I gave, ARGs are often a form of viral marketing, and there's a good reason why these games are not only intriguing and fun but also effective pieces of marketing. For starters, they're a sort of goodwill engine. By creating something larger than life and giving players a unique perspective, brands aim to foster goodwill from the participants. Plus, ARGs are built to go viral. They propagate naturally by nature of requiring collaboration. It's a shrewd way for a company to wedge their product into the cultural zeitgeist without spending heavily on things like TV spots or product placement. And finally, they create what marketers call brand missionaries, enthusiastic ambassadors cultivated by the ARG. I've been just that, unwittingly, by sharing my enthusiasm for ongoing ARGs with those around me and pulling them in, thus putting the brand at the heart of the ARG on their minds. And the thing is, alternate reality games frequently being pieces of transmedia viral marketing doesn't necessarily invalidate their existence as works of fiction. And I don't think this makes the ARGs themselves any less fun. The good ones, anyway. But that's just the reality of what most ARGs are. But an ARG can backfire too. There are pitfalls, and Blizzard got a hard lesson in how not to run an ARG with the lead up to Sombra's debut in Overwatch. Her ARG employed the same kind of cryptographic puzzle staples featured in other ARGs, but months of slow updates as players' capacity to solve clues vastly outstripped the pace at which Blizzard was willing to drop hints, resulted in players being in the know when they were expected to still be in the dark. So things chugged along for months at a glacial pace, and every time the end appeared to be in sight, it just dragged out further and further, resulting in frustration and animosity towards Blizzard and apathy towards the character that they were trying to hype up. It was completely bungled, and Blizzard was forced to admit that they aren't very good at ARGs. But given the marketing powers of ARGs, they tend to run pretty frequently, for everything from album releases to the lead up to new movies, and especially for video game releases. You just have to be observant if you want to catch the very start of one. If this sounds like something fun that you would like to try out and participate in, try checking out a community like Reddit's ARG subreddit, which I'll link to in the description. Speaking personally, I think they offer a pretty unique kind of experience, and it's worth checking out. That's gonna do it for this week's Tiny Voices. Don't forget we're off next Wednesday, and we'll be back after that to round this season out with the final 3 episodes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.